Hey, everybody. Here's Joe Biden's big supporter. Here's a resistance leader, John Kasich.
Now is the time for Democrats, and I believe Joe Biden will do this, to begin to listen to what the other half of the country has had to say.
So this is how it always plays out, just so you know what's happening. So right now, all the establishment tools who get on TV whenever they want are going on saying, well, now that the Democrats won, it's time for them to reach out to the Republicans and govern like a Republican. That's what they got to do. But whenever Republicans win, they go, see, we got a mandate. We got a mandate to do what we want. And do you understand why this is okay? Why John Kasich and Joe Biden are on the same page? Because they both serve the same donors. They're both establishment Wall Street tools. They're both enemies of the workers.
But we have to listen to what those folks, those Republicans, all across this country has had to say.
Because we've never done that before. When are we going to start listening to the right wing? When is the corporate voice going to have a voice in government? I love that, Joe Biden. Unite around us, and as soon as we win, we'll give you the finger.
The best thing that's happened to Joe Biden is the fact that the United States Senate is either going to be Republican or very close, and the far left can push him as hard as they want. And frankly, the Democrats have to make it clear to the far left that they almost cost him this election. And
the far left almost cost him the election. You mean the one he won? You mean how he beat the right-wing guy? The one he won? And when the Democrats lose, see, the Republicans have a mandate. And when Democrats win, they almost lost. Republicans win, you gotta go hard right conservative because they got a mandate. When Democrats win, you gotta go hard right conservative because they almost lost. This is the guy that the Democrats had speak. Joe Biden invited him to speak at the convention. This is his buddy.
Congresswoman from Virginia warned the Democrats, you want to talk about defunding the police, you'll have no support. And I think this is an opportunity for Biden to talk about, the center right and the center left of this country and what can be achieved. Because we have enormous problems with debt, Social Security, Medicare.
We have enormous problems with debt, Social Security, and Medicare. And Joe Biden and me agree we got to cut it. We got enormous problems with debt, Social Security. So instead of coming in during the middle of an economic collapse and a pandemic and giving people health care and a UBI and a job and economic relief and expanding Social Security, he's going to come in and do all the opposite. The opposite. And they're going to do it because it's common sense. And if you don't do this, you're going to lose your next election. No, that's how Barack Obama governed. And that's why we got Trump.
Healthcare, little steps.
Little steps
One
on
other thing,
healthcare.
one Democrat told me, Social Security, Medicare, healthcare, little steps. One other thing, one Democrat told me, at some point, if they'd have been more clear in rejecting the hard left, they would have appealed more to Americans who I believe essentially live in the middle. So I think actually he's in a better position today because being pulled from the left isn't going to work. They will not get those things done.
By the way, just remember, that's the guy Joe Biden invited to come speak at the Democratic convention and endorse him.
Now is
John Kasich is telling Democrats that progressives are the party's problem. But Kasich is an anti-choice, anti-labor Republican. Kasich is attacking the people who played pivotal roles in flipping Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Kasich failed to flip Ohio. The scary thing about this is that Joe Biden and John Kasich both tried to cut Social Security in the late 1990s in the name of austerity. Kasich was made a DNC speaker by Team Biden, and Kasich in this clip explicitly references Social Security. Yeah, that's why they're buddies. You want to see why they're buddies?
Senator, we have a deficit We have Social Security and Medicare looming. The number of people on Social Security and Medicare is now 40 million people. It's going to be 80 million in 15 years. Would you consider looking at those programs, age of eligibility,
Absolutely.
cost of living, put it all on the table?
The answer is absolutely. You have to. I mean, no, it's one of the things that
You have to. I like how he smiles when he does it. You have to. We have to. I mean, come on. We have to cut Social Security, Medicare. You have to, man. I mean, how are we going to get out of this big deficit hole unless we can't get out of this hole unless we push a bunch of old people in it. And there he is. We got to cut Social Security, Medicare. Of course, man. The American people know they can't have nice things. We're living in a fucking corporatocracy. This is an oligarchy. They don't get to have the stuff the rest of the world has. You think I'm kidding? That's what he says.
the political advisors say to me is, whoa, don't touch that third. Look, the American people aren't stupid. It's a real simple proposition. We have to do, you and I were talking about Bob Dole earlier.
The American people aren't stupid. They are stupid, Joe. And B, they fucking just elected you, and you're going to cut Social Security and Medicare. You're going to try. You're going to try. Barack Obama tried. Barack Obama tried to cut Social Security and Medicare. It was called the Grand Bargain. And he was going to do it. And guess who stopped Barack Obama from cutting Social Security and Medicare? Do you know who stopped him? The Republicans. Because they didn't want to give him a victory, any kind, even cutting Medicare and Social Security. They stopped him from doing that. The Republicans did. Barack Obama wanted to. The Grand Bargain. Look it up. The Grand Bargain means I'm going to cut Social Security and Medicare. Okay, so now we know why him and Kasich are friends. They both agree on that, and they both agreed on cutting Social Security, which they're going to probably do. So just so you know, John Kasich trying to tell people that if you run left, you're going to cause people elections. Here's the people who ran the issue, Medicare for All. Everybody who ran on Medicare for All won. Abby Finkenauer. Did she support Medicare for All? No. Did she win the election? No. Colin Peterson. Support Medicare for All? Did he win the election? No. Debbie Merkel. So, by the way, and this is where, and Joe Biden won there. Finkenauer lost. Joe Biden won here. District leans +6 for Biden. Lost. Isn't that interesting? Another district, 5 points. They lost. We're not for Medicare for All. Here's someone who was for Medicare for All, and as a Democrat, Katie Porter, and won her election, and that's in a Republican-leading district. So the exact opposite of what John Kasich is telling you is actually the truth. That the people who ran on the Green New Deal and Medicare for All won, and the people who didn't lost. So that's how it goes all the way down. It's almost like John Kasich has no clue what he's talking about. And maybe it's telling that the Democrats win the White House and then immediately have a Republican speaking for them. I don't know. Maybe it's not. After AOC noted every Medicare for All co-sponsor won re-election, I took a dive into the Green New Deal. Of the 93 co-sponsors who ran for re-election, all but 2 of them won. And 3 of the 4 co-sponsors in swing districts won. That's pretty good. The exact opposite of what they're telling you on the corporate news. The exact opposite of what they're telling you. Here's Hannah Trudeau says, top Joe Biden GOP surrogate John Kasich says, now is the time for Democrats to begin to listen to what the other half of the country has to say. Wow. Well, 70% of the country says they're for Medicare. Mm-hmm. Don't just listen to half of the country, John. It's time to listen to what half the country has to say. Let's go higher than that. Let's listen to what 70% of the country has to say, John. Not just half of them. 70% of the country says they want a single-payer health care. He only wants to listen to half of the country. I say let's listen to the majority of them. The overwhelming majority. This is a good point. And furthermore, the Biden campaign owes him. The Kasich endorsement was crucial for them to win Ohio and therefore the election. But of course, he's being sarcastic because Joe Biden did not win Ohio. And John Kasich's endorsement was meaningless. Boy, that want to see the Ohio? Boy, that Kasich endorsement really pulled a lot of weight. Look at that. That's really amazing. Watch this interview.
I'm curious what you make of the fact of...
So this is Jim Clyburn. Now, this is Jim Clyburn, who, much like Barack Obama, gaslights black people into voting against their own interests and into demanding from government shit that they should be demanding. He gaslights them into not demanding it. This is Jim Clyburn, who's against his own voters, who gaslights people of color into not demanding from the Democratic Party health care or anything else they should be demanding. And watch this. This girl looks exactly like my little sister, by the way.
She does.
House seats that you lost and why that happened.
Well, it happened simply because
So she's asking, hey, why, if Joe Biden won, why did the friggin' people in the House lose? Why did Democrats in the House lose? And why did you take over the Senate? And here's what he says.
we were not able to discipline ourselves according to voter sentiment. We keep making that mistake, this foolishness about you got to be this progressive or that progressive. That phrase, defund the police, cost Jamie Harrison tremendously. Now, I'm not saying it was the only problem.
You sound kind of mad, Congressman. It sounds like you're
I
blaming
am.
the more
Yeah, I mean, we almost made the mistake of listening to voters.
progressive members of your party for holding folks accountable or to a standard that doesn't work in their district. Do you blame the progressive members?
No, I don't blame progressive members. I want everybody in my caucus to be as practical as I am.
Did he say tactical or practical?
I thought it was practical.
So being practical, according to James Clyburn, is taking tons and tons of corporate money and upholding the corporation's interests while screwing workers and poor people while talking nice. That's being practical to Jim Clyburn, because I'm going to show you in a second that he's a total bought and paid for piece of it.
That's the difference here. How are you going to look at me and say I'm not progressive?
I'm going to show you, because you take corporate money and you legislate against the will of the people, you're standing in between healthcare and people. That's why.
This foolishness about you more progressive than I am, that's poppycock, and I'm not going to listen to it.
I know you're not going to listen to it because you are bought and paid for, corrupt tool of the oligarchy. And you're proud of it. You're indignant about it.
Mm-hmm.
You're the enemy of the people you claim to represent, Jim Clyburn. You're a fucking bought and paid for tool.
If you could have a caucus meeting right now and you would or tell folks what they should do differently, given the losses that we have, what would you say to them?
Stop sloganeering. Sloganeering.
Stop sloganeering, says the guy who said he's progressive when in reality he helped stop progressives. Stop sloganeering. He's calling himself progressive. He's using a bullshit slogan. And you want to know how I know it's all bullshit, everything he just said? Here's Jim Clyburn. 72% funded by corporate PACs. And now you know where Jim Clyburn gets his opinions from. Not the people. He gets them from his owners. The donor class. Bought and paid for. This is exactly what's wrong with government. This is what's wrong with Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, the entire United States federal government. This is what's wrong with them. And then he gets to be indignant because he's a lying piece of shit. Harrison polls got better after the defund the... By the way, he talks about how that defund the police hurt Harrison. His poll numbers got better after he called for defund the police. He lost by 14 points in South Carolina in an election year. Give me a break. Defund the police only wins in blue areas. Okay, then why aren't Democrats supporting it in blue areas then? If Clyburn knows how to win a Senate race in South Carolina, it's wild that he doesn't do it. That's weird. You know how to appeal to the people to win a Senate race? Why don't you go do that then? Because you need a gerrymandered district that looks like an ampersand so you can get reelected, Jim Clyburn. Because your ideas resonate with fucking nobody. Clyburn can't win a thing outside of his gerrymandered district, and he knows it. Here's his fucking district. You see it? Let's go over here, over here. We'll do a curve around. Let's do a curve around. Get some more people I could get to vote for me. I could trick them into voting for me. Here's Donna Shalala lost her seat. Here's what she says after she lost.
I'm assuming you were probably on the call with the Democratic members from Congress the other day. There have been reports that it got quite contentious. Do you see this now turning into a internal fight within the party in terms of whose voices need to be more dominant, whether it's the AOC Bernie Sanders wing of the party or the more moderate wing of the party, the more conservative wing of the party? What kind of a reckoning do you think takes place, and how do you think Nancy Pelosi will manage it?
The way she's been managing it from the center.
She just lost. And watch how she giggles, how she's going about from the center. By the way, Nancy Pelosi's not governing from the center. She's governing from the right.
Managing it from the center. And the people that were elected that kept their seats are centrists.
She's just making it up. Just making that up. You lost your seat. She's just making that up.
Question in my mind about that. You cannot accuse 3 or 4 people of turning over these seats. At the end of the day, it was far more complex than that. And some of it is our ability to message correctly and to validate, but a lot of it is going to be policy from my point of view. And we've got to demonstrate that at the end of 4 years or the end of 2 years, that we've been tougher and we've delivered on these issues that people care about. And, this anti-communism, anti-socialism is deep in our community. But my argument is that Donald Trump hasn't delivered on any of that. He just said it and scared people, and that Joe Biden has an opportunity he can start by protecting those that have run away from those places.
So this is early reports signal Shalala was not the only casualty of a strong showing by Republicans in the Miami-Dade area of South Florida. Another first-term Democratic member of Congress representing part of Miami-Dade County, Representative Debbie Mascaro-Powell, also lost. Former Vice President Joe Biden trailed Hillary Clinton's showing there in 2016 when she won the district by almost 20 points. She expressed concerns that Medicare is not as good as many private insurance plans and that some constituents would prefer to keep their plan. Why should we spend money when people have a good private health insurance, she told C-SPAN. We need to cover those that don't have coverage now. And she lost. The centrists, though, I thought the centrists were the ones. Wow. Florida's election results, 27, she loses. She loses. So every single congressional Democrat who supported Medicare for all won re-election. But we're still supposed to act like guaranteed health care is some fringe lefty pipe dream. In swing districts, vote share declines as candidates move right. Does our candidate suck? No, it's the voters who are wrong. So, there you go. Sha-la-la-la. Oh, by the way, I want to show you this clip. Here, this is Melvin. What's his name? Harold Melvin or something Melvin. And then this is the guy who was outed as working for the CIA when he was at the LA Times, and then he got promoted to an on-camera position at the MSNBC News because they're just another mouthpiece for the
Kendallinian.
Kendallinian, yes. So let's watch this.
Ken, what have you learned, sir? Oh shit! Fuck. Okay.
Ali goes, okay. Shit, fuck.
That's Craig Melvin.
Craig Melvin.
What have you learned, sir? Oh shit. Fuck. Okay.
Hey, everybody, this is the part where I tell you where all our live shows are, but there aren't any. And then this is why I tell you to join our premium program and get extra content, but nobody's got a fucking job. So just enjoy the video.